Morning boys, good to see all of you here today. Today I'll be discussing the relevance of Othello by William Shakespeare and how it is still relatable in our time. Through Iago's Final Soliloquy in Act 2, Scene 3.
It is quite a long soliloquy, so we've got to keep things short. I'll be exploring ideas and concepts in it to show how Shakespeare reflects on human nature, in particular sexism and racism, and why this play is still relevant today. To start off with, we have those first words.
I play the villain.
This is ironic, as Iago is a bad guy pretending to be honest and trustworthy in order to trap his victims. Iago asks rhetorically whether he's on the right track to
win them all again,
meaning to deceive Othello into turning against Desdemona. Iago uses simile and alliteration to describe Desdemona.
Framed as fruitful as the three elements.
This is an image that can have several meanings. It can mean Desdemona is natural force for good, or that she is a sexual being. It foreshadows Othello's later description of her as having
fruitfulness and liberal heart,
or being fertile and kind. Iago references her sexual desirability in a negative way, and uses it to turn Othello against her. His earlier speeches are full of misogyny and mistrust of women's sexuality. When Iago says that Othello's soul is
so infected to her love,
this means Othello and Desdemona are bound together. This ties with his later imagery of a net, which he speaks of using Desdemona's goodness
to enmesh them all
in his scheme. A net also references animals and recalls Iago's dehumanizing and racist descriptions of Othello. Further sexualization of Desdemona occurs with the phrase,
even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function,
suggesting she uses her sexuality to manipulate Othello, as he does later by referring to
her body's lust.
By exclaiming,
divinity of hell,
Iago uses antithesis to suggest an upending of the natural order of things. Elizabethan audiences believed that God, not devils, sat atop of the great chain of being. By placing devils at the top, he foreshadows a descent into chaos later in the play. Iago explains that he will be able to get Othello to view Desdemona differently, and he will be able to
turn her virtue into pitch.
Pitch meaning black. In earlier scenes, he uses the white-black opposition to mean contrast between good and evil. Pitch is a clear reference to Othello's dark skin, which Iago has commented on to reinforce Othello's outsider status. To sum up, in this soliloquy, Iago makes the audience complicit of his plan to ruin Othello. His hatred of women is shown by his fixation of Desdemona's sexuality. He reflects on the wider society's views on black people like Othello as inferior, and Iago uses Othello's insecurity as an outsider to ensure his plan succeeds. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope to see all of you next week when we discuss, is guitar good for you?
Yeah, sorry about that. That was just Disney. They were asking me to do the next Kung Fu Panda movie.